Hey guys, I'm back here. I'm gonna shoot another video. I've got these Dave Kindig-It flush mount door handles. And I wanna shoot a video and kind of show you guys how to install them. I mean, obviously you can do it on the directions, but they're pretty well-made piece. And so what I'm gonna do here is on this particular car, on this Thunderbird, I'm gonna fill the keyhole, I'm gonna cut out this relief, and I'm gonna shape it to the door and metal finish it. Then I'm gonna come in, and in the directions, they give you a template, like a paper template. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lay out the template according to that body line that's on there and figure out where I wanna cut this. So what happens is, this is 1/2 inch plate, and you only cut the groove, what you see behind the handle. Once you cut that, you weld the sheet metal to this 1/2 inch plate, and then you unbolt everything from the back. So I got the handle pretty much shaved. I got the bucket, the recess that was in the door, I got that cut out. I got the keyhole field, which was right here. And then I got this all tacked in, and it's pretty flush. I just got that out, so I'm gonna tack that. And then I'll end up TIG welding this with my Miller welder, the 180 SD, the sinker wave. And then I'll metal finish it, and I'll fill this hole. And then I'll come into a measurement off the body line and wherever the latch was, and then I'll put my template in here and cut out the hole. You could do it either way. I like to do it this way because I get to work this panel. And then once I work this panel, then when I go to cut it, it's gonna be a nice clean cut. If you cut this and then try to weld this in, that opening where that handle goes is gonna be wavy. And you can clamp it and weld it. You could do it either way. This way, I'm gonna get the curve of the door, and then I'm gonna come in and cut it. And once I cut that handle out, this will be like it was made that way, factory. I don't have to worry about warpage. Put the handle of Kindig-It's main piece in, this piece, and then I'll cut the opening to this size, the ID of this, and then I'll TIG weld it right to this edge. So when I'm TIG welding this to the sheet metal, obviously you gotta keep most of your heat, I'd probably say 90% of it, on this thicker flange, because you're gonna have to get this to melt and the sheet metal. So what you wanna do is you wanna keep your torch here, and then you wanna I guess what I'm trying to say is you want to kind of wash it. So if this screw is my torch, you want to come in here and you want to keep your main heat here, and you want to strike your arc here. Then you want to kind of bring it over here and let it melt that sheet metal into this 1/2 inch and go back to the 1/2 inch. I'm going to tack it with my wire feed rod because it's thinner, so that I can get it filled. But once I get it all tacked, I'm probably just going to use this 1/2 inch material, and I'll fuse it to the door. And then I'll just grind it and clean it up, and it'll be perfectly fine. So I'll get this going, and then after I get this metal finished, I'll move on and I'll get the layout of the template and stuff like that so you guys can see that. But most of these door handles of Kindig-It's are very similar. It's just the handle shape changes. The housing is identical. So you could use this video that I'm making for both of the handles that he sells. So I got it all TIG welded up. And as you can see right here, I've got my Centerline from this body line. And then I'll grind it and metal finish it, work it back out to where it's flush with the door, and then I'll cut my groove for this door handle, and I'll show you guys how to install it. But this is kind of basically just like shaving your handles. As you can see, it has the curve to the door. Got a little bit more work to do to it to get it back out, but it's not too bad. So you can see my Centerline drawing right there from here. So I know from here over which I have a measurement of, I believe it's 2 1/4 inches where that handle opening needs to start. And then I'll definitely do it to here. So this center line of this old bolt hole, I'm actually gonna do away with it so I don't even have to fill it. So, as you guys could see, so I'll get to metal finishing and then I'll show you when I start cutting it out. So I got it all shaved, got it all metal finished, and then as you guys can see, so that's my straight edge up against it. So I try to get the metal as close as possible. You'll see a little bit of gap in there, but that's plenty. That's, you know, that's enough for a little bit of plastic filler. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. And you know it's never gonna crack. I mean, there's very, very little gap in there. And then now that you see that I've got it all contoured to the door, and it's all metal finished, you can kind of see where the ring was. But I mean, I can continue metal finishing, but I'm gonna get ready to cut most of this back out, so it's not really gonna matter. So I'm gonna pull my measurement, get back up to my scribe line, rescribe it, and then start cutting it out for the handle. Lay the template on there. So if you want to shave your door handles, I mean, this is kind of how you do it. And then if you're obviously putting in these Kindig-It handles, this is how you got to start with something what I started with. If your car's already flat, then you don't have to. But my biggest deal is trying to get that little gap that you see right there. I mean, that's nothing for body filler. I would say most of the people out in the industry can't even get it that good unless you go to a really high-end custom shop, but most body shops can't even get it that close. So it's all shaped back to the door like it was factory, and then I'll start cutting. So in the directions of the Dave Kindig-It deal, he gives you 2 templates. So this is what it is. So this is the handle layout of the opening. So I cut this out, and if you could see these 2 dots in the center? That's your center line. So I just got a straight edge and an ink pen and basically put it on there, drew a straight line across. As you can see, so this was my scribe line from this body line where I wanted to put it. And then I measured, I wanted to put it 2 1/4 inches off this edge over here. So that's where I lined that up. But then you could see the scribe line there. So I basically matched that line up and this line up, taped it, and then what I did is I used an ink pen. It's a finer tip, and you could see how it laid out the template. Now I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna use a unibit, and I'm gonna drill an 1/8 inch hole and unibit it to get that radius on all 4 corners. And then after I do that, then I can come in here and blow a hole right in the center with a unibit, and then I can tin snip this, get it as close as I can to the line. You probably wanna stay on the, like on the top side, you wanna stay on the inside down here just a little bit. We could always come in and grind it, but if you cut too far, it's gonna be exposed more of the opening on the handle in this. And I cut mine so close that I'm gonna weld this sharp 90-degree edge right here, right to the edge of my sheet metal. So there's gonna be no body work needed out here. It'll be almost all underneath. And if I can get it to fuse correctly and weld with the Miller TIG welder, it's gonna be less body work on the outside. So on the inside, if I can get that to weld correctly, you grind it over, be a nice radius edge right here, sanded, there'll be no body work needed because you've seen the outer. So just basically put some spot putty on there. After you've seen my ruler gap, spot putty, block it out, and it's done. So I'm gonna get to drilling the holes, and then I'll cut it, and I'll show you the easiest way to do these Kindig-It handles. So as you can see, I drilled these 4 corners. This one up here is just a skosh off from my scribe line, but these all tie into the radius. It's gonna save you time from shaping it. So I drilled that one there. That's where I'm gonna get my tin snip started, and then I'll just kind of cut around and get a bigger hole. And then I just cut to this, snip these off, and then I can come back and just grind that little center piece out with a carbide bit and then sand the edges. It gets the radius perfect instead of me trying to hand shape it. I mean, you could do it. I'm just kind of, you know, anal about it, but that's the easiest way to get your 4 corners. and then just cut out in between, kind of like a puzzle. So I'll get that cut out, and then I'll show you after I get it all detailed and stuff how it fits the handle, and then start welding. So I got the door handle all tacked in. What I did notice is on the factory deal behind here, there's that hole, and it shows that you're supposed to install it with a bolt. I did use that bolt to get it all kind of centered, but if you have any of these long reach clamps, because you could only get to here, so I came in from the bottom of the door and I clamped it here. So I got it all nice and tight to the skin, and then I did also the same thing here. Once I got these two tacked, since the door's radius and this was flat, what I ended up doing is I grabbed a small clamp like this, and I stuck it through the hole and I clamped it right here, so it brought it back flush, and then I tacked it. So I've got the handle in. I put the handle in just to make sure for the fitment for this original door latch, because I have it in, so that's right where it wants to start hitting, so you have a little bit of pull. But I can bend that back to get more throw if I want, but just like that, people. I don't have the spring in it. I left the spring out for mock-up, but as you can see, it's flush mount. Goes pretty good with that body line. So I'll end up welding it and grinding it, and then this particular video is the same on the other side. Just kind of do everything the same, but just mirror image it, do your calculations and stuff, but I'll show you the finished product after I get the handle back out and weld it up. So I got it all welded. I did weld it like I normally do sheet metal, as you could tell by the waves of the heat transfer. I welded here, and I skip around. And the reason why is because this is so thick. If I was just to continuously weld it, it would distort this enormously. So I hopped around, but if you notice too, TIG welding, my heat transfer is very minimal. I mean, down here, you're probably looking a little bit bigger than 1/4 of an inch. Up here, it kind of got a little bit more because I was actually welding upside down. So the flame was actually blowing along the side of the sheet metal. But I've got it all TIG welded. After it cools down, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna knock this back out up in here because it did kind of suck it in. So I'll have to hammer and dolly it and get that back out. And then I might have to do a little bit of work down here. In here, it sucks because I can't get back there because this is 1/2 inch. I can't get back to the sheet metal. So what's gonna be a problem, there's gonna be a little bit of filler there. But there's nothing we can do installing these handles. But I could definitely work this area some more and get it out. Same with here. And then I'll come in and I'll just grind my TIG weld. That's why the template was so key, is to cut it as close as you can to that line because you don't have a huge gap. So I basically just, like I said, welded the edge of this 1/2 inch plate to the sheet metal, and you can get it wrapped around in there. So all I got to do is this. It'll have a nice little rollover edge from the sheet metal going into the handle pocket. So this is basically finished. Obviously, I'm going to have to grind it and pull it back out up in here, a little bit of metal work, but after that, it's pretty self-explanatory. The other side is the same way. So if you have a set of Kindig-It flush mount door handles, any one, the housings are the same, the handles change. Here is a video on how to do it if you want it done clean. And like I said, you could wire feed it. In his directions, it shows being spot welded with a wire feeder. The problem with the wire feeder, there's going to be a lot of distortion going on in here. So you're really going to have to come back and work this panel. I hate plastic filler. I try to get everything in metal as close as possible. So no more than like a 1/16 of Bondo would be required. But this handle's on. It's on to stay, and it looks pretty good with that body line. It'll be good with the chrome handle and a piece of chrome going down this body line. Definitely didn't come stock on this 55 Thunderbird, but it'll be a little custom, but it'll be cool. Be a cool deal. Thanks for watching my videos. If you guys have any more questions or anything, feel free to send over some questions or maybe some videos that maybe you want me to kind of do for the fact that maybe a tool or something that I've already built that you guys kind of want to get a little bit more, or something, anything, how to shrink and stretch sheet metal or whatever like that, and then I can do a video on that. I'm sure I've done the majority of anything that you're thinking of. I've probably done it at one point or another. So get over to my channel and subscribe, and I'll teach you how to do some sheet metal tricks, stuff like this. And stay tuned, because I'll keep posting more videos on the tools and stuff I build and cars and stuff in my shop. So go over there and hit the link, and then you can follow us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And then obviously I have a website, iconicmetalworks.com, and you guys can kind of see the caliber of stuff that we build. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. So here it is, guys. It's all metal finished, it's all finished, ground down. As you can see where I welded it, like I told you, it's a nice clean done deal. You don't have to put no body filler or nothing. So skim coat of spot putty on this thing, and she'll be done. So I'm gonna put the handle in and get all the striker and stuff back in together, and then move to the other side. So I hope this video was beneficial for you guys installing these Kindig-It door handles. They're a well-made piece. If you guys like that look, go over there to his website and get you a pair ordered or something, and use this video here on how to install. The directions are there if you want to use them, but it's kind of one of those deals. It's easier to be seen than read a bunch of stuff and try it. I'm kind of more hands-on, so I didn't even really read the directions. I just kind of looked at the photos and went to town. But this it definitely turned out really well. I'm really surprised with that thick panel being, or that thick, looking for my straight edge, but anyway, with this being so thick, I was concerned that it was just going to sandwich the metal and pull the metal whichever way it wanted, but it's actually not too bad. So if you guys are interested in some Kindig-It handles, go over there to the flush mount. Go over there and get you some, and here's a video and show you how to install it. So there it is. I got the handle back in. It's all flush. And then right there, see, so it just pushes in and it hits the original striker. I might bend the striker back to get a little bit more room to get his hand in there, but I mean, you don't want it to go all the way. So, I mean, it's basically, you could almost, with this, the way this is, you could just, you know, kind of use your pinky. So, but I think it looks pretty good on this car. Gives it that sleek look. Then I'm just gonna leave the tape on it because the handle's already chrome. That's the way he ordered them. So, but get over there, guys, and give me some comments and stuff like that. I'll respond to you guys, and I always like to hear new things and, you know, what you guys are working on, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. That's what I'm here for. I mean, if we could teach everybody could work together, you know. Multiple heads are always better than one. So send me some comments and I'll shoot some more videos so you guys could keep learning. Thanks.